I'm missing my friend, Miss Pastor Troy, my brother. We're always bantering and shenanigans up here, so it's going to be solo flight. It's going to be fun. I'm excited to be here. We're going to talk about dreams a little bit. I know that a lot of us are having a lot of dreams. How many have felt an increase in your dream life? Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's really good. Get ready, buckle up. It's only going to get better. You're going to have a lot of different direction dreams, some warning dreams, actually. They're really a godsend. It's a love gift from God to let you know things are ahead that you need to pay attention to. So we'll be covering some of that tonight. On the table back there, I do have my dream book, What Your Dreams Are Telling You. And then I have these little wristband things that you can buy that are it's a no-brainer word of knowledge. That's pretty much what it is. They have little messages on there that you can give someone. Just have them pick a color, you read the word, you put it on them, and you begin to tell them this is your future forecast. It's way good. It's so fun to do. And so we want you to just start to get a little bit of your feet wet, doing something different that you've never done before. I was interested to see that it's 2/12/2020, and so I don't know a whole lot about numbers. I'm learning, but I do know that because of my friend Carrie Browning, she is a date keeper. She's from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and she today was talking about February 12th, 2/12, and 2/12 was a couple things stuck out in my mind. It was the day of the Latter Rain movement, which Paul Cain was a part of, and then that was started in 1948. And then also February 12th, 2019 is when Paul Cain passed away, which also started this huge revival that we're just starting to get into. I'm also pretty convinced that 2/12 of 1962, at about 2:12 in the afternoon, I won a goldfish in my grade school from throwing a ping pong ball into the bowl. I'm just kidding you. I just had to come up with something. So we are going to talk about dreams. It's going to be fun. We've been doing dreams all over the place. We have been interpreting dreams. We've been finding out what people are dreaming. We've been giving them an opportunity to tell us their dream. It's just amazing. We went to New York City, and we actually hung out at Times Square. We hung out at the pier. We went over to Hoboken, and we found a psychic shop. So we decided that we were just going to hang out outside the psychic shop and wait for people to come out who'd had their dreams interpreted and paid $65 to have it done, and we'll do it for free. So we did that, and one lady came out, and she'd had a being chased dream and all that, and I'll tell you what that means. And it was just a very simple dream when she came out of the psychic place, and she said that she had been told. I said, well, just out of curiosity, what did they tell you about that? What was their interpretation of your dream, your reoccurring dream that seems to keep you up at night and you can't sleep and you get afraid and get anxious and all that? And she said, well, they told me that I need to sit in a bathtub with crystals in a dark bathroom with candles and crystals to absorb the energy. I said, do you honestly think you need to do that? That was what I asked her, and she goes, well, I don't know. And I said, let me tell you what that means. I said, what's happening is something from your past is trying to jeopardize your future. That's why you're having the panic attacks. But the very thing that was meant for evil, the very thing that was meant to chase you and get you all tripped up is going to be meant for good, because it's literally forcing you into your future. It's forcing you into your future. You're going to begin to see the pathway develop for you and unfold for you, the very thing you're meant to do, what you're called for, what you're designed for, why you're on the earth, why you're walking and we met. This is all a part of the plan. And she starts crying. She goes, why did I spend $65 going in? And I said, that's my question. I said, I got my information from the one who put you together, the creator. And I said, you have access to him all the time. And so you can just understand that you don't have to go pay a psychic to get your stuff done. How many know that? Wouldn't that just be fun to find a bunch of places around here? I don't know how many there are, but we could go do it. I'll do it. I love it. You just never know what you're going to see. And then the words begin to come, words of knowledge, things start to happen. God just opens them up. They're all open to you because why? Because now you've lowered a bridge into their heart. They're telling you something. They want to know something. We are right now when you think about Joseph the dreamer, who in Genesis, and he was a dreamer. He was thrown into a pit by his brothers. You know, he had dreams, and then all of a sudden he didn't have dreams, but he was interpreting everyone's dream. And he's in prison, and he's got the baker and the butler. How many know that one? Remember that story? I don't want to read it to you, but the chief butler he was given a promising dream. He was given a dream that there were 3 vines that represented 3 days, and that the vines budded and they grew fruit. And he squeezed the grapes into the cup of Pharaoh's cup, pressed it back into his hand, which is where he got the interpretation. In 3 days, you're going to be restored to Pharaoh just where you were before, and you're going to be serving the king again. And then Joseph said an interesting thing. He said, now, I told you the interpretation of the dream, and when you get into a good place and when you get into Pharaoh's palace, make sure that you don't forget me and get me out of here. How many are there? How many feel like you've been like in the prison going, I've been doing all this stuff for so long, and now I'm ready to get out of here? Well, this is prison to palace time. This is your prophetic time. This is prison to palace time. You're getting ready to see some things open for you. You've been faithful. You've been stewarding. Things have been unjust for you. Some things have really played out like you thought they would. You've gone through some betrayal, some trauma, some who knows what all. But God says you're getting ready to go from this dark place, from this desert place into the palace. God's going to put you before people that need to hear what you have to say. And he can trust you to do it. That's a good word. That's a really good word. For me, dreams will get me there. That's a really good lure in the fish and tackle box, is a dream interpretation. Because there's so many people dreaming so many things all the time. We just had an outreach at a convention, and we were sitting down with someone at that convention who had a dream about teeth falling out. And teeth falling out is probably your number one dream. I know that you don't believe that, but it's honestly true. Teeth falling out. How many here have had teeth falling out dreams, right? Okay, well, let me tell you what that means, because if you go anywhere, and I'm going to give you a few little things that you can use out in the marketplace. You want that? So if someone's had a teeth falling out dream, usually what it means is it means that you are losing your ability to understand things. Why? Because if you don't have any teeth, you're gumming information. You don't have anything to bite and chew down the details and make sure that you have all of the information you need, and you're in danger of swallowing something whole. Does that make sense? So when you have a teeth falling out dream, I always start there with someone. Why? Because that's going to give them a heads up. It's going to be like, wait a minute. I'm getting ready to make a big decision. I'm either going to move, I'm going to get married, I'm going to change jobs, I'm going to sign a contract, I'm going to do something. It'll be some kind of a pretty notable decision in their life at that moment. And they're like, what's going on? So in this case, this guy had a dream that not only were his teeth chipping, they started to chip in his dream, but also they started to fall out and his whole jaw was coming with it. And this is somebody that needs to change professions. I'll just say that. This man needs to change professions. And I said, oh, that's a warning dream. And he went, what? I went, yep, sure is. It's a warning dream. And he goes, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, it's just a warning dream for you. I really wanted to bait him. I did. And I said, you're getting ready to have your whole identity reshaped. When you have your jaw coming out, that means your identity is going to look a whole lot different than it did. And I just excused myself from the table and walked away. And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. I want to see if he's going to hunt me down, find me, chase me down, find out more. So you have these kind of interesting dreams where they're fun to do. You never know what the response is going to be, but you do know that they're catching on. Why? His face told me he was catching on. He's like, wait. This is someone who needs to change professions, like I said. This is very interesting. We also had another young guy. I want to tell you this one. This kid, man, we were at the Sundance Film Festival. How many know where that is? It's in Park City, Utah. Sundance Film Festival. We were out there on the streets, bitter cold. It was freezing. It was so cold. And it was always in January. And so we would find warm places anywhere where we could put up a camera and we could interpret dreams and film because it's a film festival, right? And we got a camera. It was really funny how we did. I actually went and interpreted a dream for someone who worked in one of the stores. And she goes, why are you interpreting dreams? And I said, well, we're making a documentary. And I started to walk out the door, and God said, are you? Well, I am now. So we bought a camera, and we didn't know how to use it. And not only did we not know how to use it, we had it upside down at one point. This is at a film festival with professional film people there. Some guy had the kindness to come up and go, you might want to turn that the other way. We knew that. We were doing a different shot. The guy who helped us buy the camera was on our dream team, and he didn't know anything about film. He didn't know anything about anything. He was just out there. We were all learning to interpret dreams, right, at this film festival, because if people are making movies, they're visual, so there's a really good crowd for it. They're already, and he ended up on a panel. Well, our dream team guy ended up on a panel discussing the making of documentaries. I'm looking around going, where's Bill? He was sitting up on the panel in a chair with all these other filmmakers, and he's answering questions. And I'm like, we're not there yet. And they loved him. He works for a company, a big company, works in sales. He just nailed it. He was great. Got words of knowledge, understood things. People wanted him for other panels after that, But during our adventures at filming at the Sundance Film Festival, we had this one kid, and he comes in, and he's probably like in his late teens. I'm going to say like maybe 18, 19, 20 something. And he comes in, and he's got his friends with him. That's one of my favorites, when they had their friends with them. And he comes strutting in, and they're all behind him like, woo, he's so cool. We're so glad to hang out with this guy. And we said, hey, you a dreamer? Have you had a dream that you can't forget or you've had more than once? And he goes, well, I had this dream like 2 nights ago. And I thought, here we go. I said, well, just sit yourself right down. So he did, and all of his friends sat with him. And he was using the word like a lot. So he was like, I was like driving in my car, and I had a wreck, and I died, and I saw myself above my car, and I saw myself before the judgment seat of Christ. And I saw there were 2 lines. There was one going to hell and one going to heaven. And I was in the middle. And he goes, am I going to die? And I went, yes. All of his friends were like, dude, you're going to die. I said, we're all going to die. The good thing is, you get to figure out which line you want to be in before you die. And then he sits back, like kind of in the chair, like real smug, and he goes, well, I don't really believe in God. And I got really close to him. This is my favorite part. I got really close to him, and I went, well, dude, it was your dream. I don't know what to tell you. It was your dream. I didn't have it. You asked me what I thought, and I told you. You get to pick which line you want to be in before you die. He sat and told the entire life after death experience to all of his friends, and the fact that there is going to come a day when we're all going to die, and there will be a day of judgment. You can't beat this. You can't make this up. I mean, this is just too fun. It is hysterical what we get into. Some of the dreams, when I was learning to interpret, I was so bad at it at first, and I didn't really know what I was doing, and I'd tell them the interpretation of a dream, and they would repeat back to me what they thought I said, and it was nothing like what I said. Nothing. I get it. I understand. Oh my gosh, you're so great. You told me this and that and this, and I went, yeah. Nothing. I didn't say any of those words. And I was like, God is more into this than we are. God will help you understand the dreams. It's really fun. When we hosted the 2002 Winter Olympic Dream Team, we had about 27 people, and we were looking for places for them to interpret dreams, right? Because it's an Olympic event. So we're going to take our preschool dream interpretation tools out to a worldwide event and stand before international cameras and have them tell us a dream, and we're going to be worldwide known for that. It was funny. It's like, no. And so we were looking for places to go and to interpret dreams, and I got really practical, and I thought, well, if they're dreaming, they're probably sleeping, right? So let's go to a hotel. So we went to the hotel across from the Salt Palace where all the media was. This is for a world event, remember? And there was a little young girl there, and she was behind the counter, and I asked her, I said, would you ask your manager, do you think it would be okay if we set up a dream table here to interpret dreams as a gift for the 2002 Winter Olympics? And she goes, well, I'll try, I'll ask. And she goes, but I had a dream. Now, during the 2002 Winter Olympics, they were giving out these little buttons, or you could buy these little buttons. They're Olympic pins, they called them. And they had something to identify the city that you were in for that particular Olympic event, right? So this one had a Mormon temple on it. So I knew where she was coming from. And so I looked at her little pin, and I noticed she was about 26, maybe 25 or 26 years old. And she goes, wait, before you leave the hotel, I will ask my boss and my manager if you can do this, but I've had a dream. Can I share with you the dream? And I said, sure, go ahead. There were 3 of us standing there. And so she said, in my dream, she said, I'm in a hallway. And I'm walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden, Jesus comes toward me. And it was as if the earth was shaking, and I could hear something that sounded like glass breaking. And there was light coming out of him, and I was looking at his face and calling on his name. And she goes, what do you think that means? And she goes, and also, there was a little woman standing next to me. I didn't know her. She looked like a grandmother, and she looked like she could have been from a foreign country, maybe like Guatemala. And she was saying to me, whatever you do, don't look in his face and don't call on his name. And I went, here's what I think your dream means. Hallways are transition places. It gives you open doors to many different detours or places that you can go into. And hallways, you're getting a personal visitation from Jesus in your spiritual transition. And there is light coming out of him, and you are being drawn to him because of the power with the earthquake and the glass shattering. You're being drawn to him, and you're looking in his face, and you're calling on his name. But this little grandmother represents a generation that the concept of personal relationship with Jesus is foreign to them. And she went, "That's it. I know that's it." And I said, "I think you should look on his face and call on his name." And when I got ready to walk out the door, God spoke to me and he said, "She's just one of the ones I'm visiting in the night seasons that have been tripped up in an understanding of spiritual hunger that has not been truthful." She's been in a season where she's searching for something more than religion, something more that's going to cement her down and keep her from fulfilling her spiritual destiny in me. And I loved it. It was the most exciting thing. And I said, this is so great. It's like when we just get around and we just start talking to people and we just start giving them an opportunity to share their dreams with us. What about flying dreams? How many have flying dreams? Do you love that? Do you like it? Don't you feel good when you get to fly? Like you don't even need a plane. I mean, how many actually, put your hands up high if you've had them. See, look at how many people. Now, you know what flying dreams, it's a prophetic gift, but on the street we would call it a special ability to see from another level. You're born with it. You're given the opportunity. It's ingrained in you. It's already woven into you. You have a special ability to see from another level. You can have a bird's eye view and look down, and you can see everything there. It's almost like a puzzle coming together. If you're sitting at the table with the puzzle and all the little pieces are there, it doesn't look near like what it does when you stand up and look over it when it's finished. It gives you a whole different view, right? So you can also go to the next step with them and say, "Hey, I bet you know things, or you see things, or you understand things, or maybe have dreams about things that actually happen. Is that true?" And they'll always tell you yes. So what you're doing is you're helping them gain identity. You're helping them understand who they really are, and that they're not weird, and that they don't have a psychic gift, they have a God gift. You know, you've got a creator gift. You've got a gift that was given to you when you were born. And now you can begin to realize that God is speaking to you through a flying dream. He wants to awaken you to the gift that's already resident on the inside of you and help you learn how to navigate it and steward it. Isn't that fun? How many have had naked in public dreams? Oh, those are fun, aren't they? I've been on several different radio shows, and the DJ's almost always like, "I don't even want to tell you this dream because I was naked in public. All I had on was my little skivvies or nothing, you know." And I'm like, "That's a great dream." They're going, "Why?" And I said, "Because you're transparent. What you see is what you get. You're not hiding anything. You're not a phony." And he's like, "Really? That's awesome. That's really good. I am transparent. I try to be really real. It's really funny." And I said, "Yes, it's a very common dream. It's one of the top 10. Along with a falling dream. How many have had falling dreams? Falling dreams. You feel like, and then you kick the bed and wake yourself up. You do that? It usually gives me an understanding when I'm an interpreter of that dream that you have the ability you're a risk taker. You're going to try stuff. Can I tell you how many falling dreams I've had? More than you want to know. And it's usually right when I'm getting ready to try something new, because I'm always trying something new. I'm always trying to find out, maybe that'll work. And it's cool too, because in your ability to use the prophetic gifts and use the dream interpretation as one of those gifts, you do get to try new things. And if it works out, people are just going to flock. They're going to start calling their friends and wanting them to come and have their dreams done. And sometimes you'll be with a group of young people, and they'll be one will be the one that'll tell you their dream in all of them. And it's just a little simple dream, and you interpret it well, and you give them a ray of hope and encouragement. And then the real dreamer comes forward, because they're going to test you to see if you can be trusted with that information. So it's very good. It's so much fun to do. Sean Burleson and I, we created a New Age event in Salt Lake City. We were both new ages. We both had birthdays, so we decided that we were new age. We had New Age is. He'll tell you about it too. It's really funny. And we did it at the public library, and so then we took it over to the New Age store in the town. And we were just interpreting dreams, and we were having fun, and he was giving words and whatever else. This was a few years ago. But there was a guy there who had a dream. He was actually the manager of the organic restaurant in the New Age store, okay? And he was involved in a same-sex relationship with another man. And so he was letting me know just by his mannerisms and his voice and all that I knew that was the lifestyle that he had embraced at that moment. And let me just say this to you about that, because Jesus is an open-armed lover. He embraces people in their brokenness and in their misunderstanding of life and whatever it might be. And he doesn't look on the outward appearance like we do. He looks on the heart. Jesus always, always, always looks on the heart, and it's always his kindness that's going to lead us to change, all the time. So we sat down with this young man, and he began to tell us a dream. And the way he was telling it to me was, again, just a demonstration of his lifestyle. And he said, I had this dream, and he goes, my significant other was walking up the sidewalk to my house, and I was sitting on the front porch, and all of a sudden he turned into a spider. It looked like a spider, and he flipped his legs around over his head and started crawling up like this. And he said, I just sat on the porch, and when he got to the top of the door, I just pushed it open and went, just go in. I don't know what to do. I said, that's an amazing dream. And he goes, why? And I said, because you're being shown something for the first time like it really is and not like what you've thought it was. And he goes, what? Because the Holy Spirit, and he is surrounding your encounter, and the Spirit of truth will set people free. And he went, what? He goes, what? That's the interpretation. I said, yes. He was acting as if he was one way, but then he turned over and he showed himself to be just the way he was. He's different in the way that he walks, or the way that he presents himself, or the way that he begins to maneuver, and it's different than what you're used to, or what you need, or what you need to be following in your life at this time, right? And he goes, that's true. And his voice changed, and we have it on film. It was a light bulb moment that went on. Everything changed at that moment for him. And we even had an opportunity to grab his hand and ask. I do a thing called standing deliverance. You gotta love this. What you do is you just take their hand and you go, would you just mind if we come into agreement, and we ask the Creator to remove everything from you that will keep you from fulfilling your destiny? And they go, yes. And you go, that's what we're going to do. It's called standing deliverance. Will you agree with me that we can ask the Creator to remove everything from you that would keep you from fulfilling your destiny? Do you know how many assignments we've broken off at that moment over someone's life? It's huge. And they're willing to do it. It's like asking them, would you like to have an encounter with the Spirit of truth? No, lie to me. Of course they want an encounter with the Spirit of truth. They do. They want to know the truth. They want to be able to walk in truth. So when we are doing the dream interpretations, we're watching as God is giving us the interpretation of a God-given dream. Almost always. I was at the adult convention my first year. Of course, we've been there 11 years. So it is weird because I'm either the dream lady or the porn lady, and nobody can figure it out. And I'm like, just me. I mean, I go other places. I do. I go to the store. I go to Walmart. You know, so I'm trying to drop the labels here, but at the adult convention, I was standing with my friend. She's younger than me, and she was, she's a very beautiful young woman, and we were doing our outreach, and we were there, and we had a team of about 15 people, and she and I were standing together waiting for some of the other team to join us, and a guy comes over, and here's this radio, you could tell it was Sirius at that time, and it was the Playboy channel going on, and they're talking, and you can see the headsets and the whole thing. You know what I'm talking about on the radio? Are you okay? So, well, if you don't, that's good. That's good that you don't know what. I'm proud of you. You do not know what that is. But anyway, he walked over to me and he goes, "We would like to have you on the radio." And I'm like, I'm looking at my friend here to see if it's her. And he goes, "No, you." And I said, "Why? For what?" And he goes, "For live call-ins, you can talk to them about things of that nature." And I went, "Well, I don't do that, but I do interpret dreams." And he said, "Oh my gosh, I just had a dream last night. It's freaking me out." I said, "Of course you did. Of course you did." And so I interpreted the dream. He was actually having a dream where he was getting on a train. He kept missing the train. The train would take off, and he was trying to switch tracks. And I said, "You are in a new season of your life. You are going to be getting on a new track. You've got to get on a new track. It's going to take you a direction that won't be this. It's going to take you into a whole new area of life that won't be this. And you've got to find a way to get off of the train and get on the right one that will take you into your destiny and your purpose and your future that will actually give you success and get you you'll have a spiritual cleansing that will take place at that moment." And he goes, "This is great. I feel heat. I feel like I'm on fire. I feel like I can, and I said, "Yes, you do. Of course you do." And he goes, "Well, listen, do you still want to get on there and do dreams? Because we'll have you do dreams." This is on a syndicate channel that shouldn't be on there. And I said, "Well, let me tell you this." He gave me his card, and I said, I'm gonna ask the boss, and I'm gonna find out if it's something that we're in a position to do, and I will get in touch with you if I can do it. If it had been this year that happened to me, I would have done it immediately. I would have gotten on that radio show immediately. Because pretty soon, it's like getting in the water and you learn to swim. Pretty soon you become better at it and better at it and better at it as you're swimming. So I just want to encourage you, because we are in a season now where we're getting ready to step into some things that are going to be incredibly awesome for us. We are in revival time. We're in times of where the Holy Spirit's going to be poured out on all this earth again, like we've never seen before. I was saved in the Jesus movement, and I can't imagine it being much more powerful than that, but it will be. The other thing that this opens up for you is miracle working power. We are literally seeing cancers healed right now. We are watching as people build a bridge of trust with us through having their dream told and interpreted, that they're now saying, will you put your hand on me, or I'm suffering with cancer, or I'm going in for treatment, or I have a tumor, or I have this thing or that thing. And you say, yes, I actually have healing inside me because of the one who lives in there. You know, the healer lives inside you. Do you know that? And you can always ask, I say, I need to put my hand on your skin, so I'll either put it on the back of their neck or on their shoulder. And in some cases, I'll ask to put my hand on their heart, because that's where everything flows out of. That's what you guard your heart with all diligence. And because I'm a mama and I'm a grandma, I can do it. And they love it. They'll even take my hand and put it on their heart. And so I'll do that, and all of a sudden now they want more. They want you. They can feel the healing power going in. I've got 2 reports and another third one that I just received recently where cancers are no longer present when they go back to be checked. And one of my friends, one of the people who got this kind of prayer was it was a virus that was going to take her out. It was a cancerous virus in her sinuses that they only gave her about 30 days to live. And they went back and they said, your cancer cells are inactive. It's on the report. I'm like, let's do this. Well, there isn't any reason for us not to do this. Yes, we can interpret dreams. Yes, we can do it. And by the way, just so you know, I did do something for y'all because y'all like that kind of thing, and I know that you do. So I did it for you, and so I'm going to do it for Pastor Troy. Where is he? Wherever you are. Wherever you are. I'm going to do this for you because I did this for you. I looked up in Jewish history what today meant. And I thought that what was going to happen, it was going to be like, you know, because I was joking about the goldfish. I thought if I added up all the letters, you know, for the last 12 years, it was going to spell out goldfish. You know, I was just going to make a joke. But so then I actually did look it up. And here's what it said. It said that a noxious plot was brewing against the Jewish community of Saragossa, and they were completely unaware of the looming danger. They were spared, however, thanks to a handful of synagogue's beadles. Do you know what synagogue's beadles are? They're ushers, and they're the ones who take action, and they keep everything in order. I thought it was a band. The synagogue beadles who acted on a dream they all had. It says I just read this today. They were spared, however, thanks to a handful of synagogue's beadles who acted on a dream they all had, and the resulting salvation on the 17th of Shavat was celebrated by the Saragossan Jews and dubbed Purim Saragossa. The Hebrew, I can't read all these words, was penned describing the details of the miraculous story because they all had a dream. It says that the Beatles, Ringo, Paul, John, and George all had a dream in the synagogue, and it said they all had a dream, which tells me they all had the same dream. And they acted on it, and it spared them from this attack. So there. You've got to love the fact that you can all have the same dream. It happened to the wise men. We will teach that in a dream course that I'm going to have one time here someday. One day I will have a dream course. Actually, I think Pastor Tori and I and Jamie are all going to do some kind of a dream thing. So, but if you look at the story of the birth of Jesus, it says that the wise men, they being divinely warned in a dream not to return to Herod, which tells me they all had the same dream. They all had the same dream. They all had the same dream. One didn't get up and tell the others the dream, and this was at a very perilous time. It was at a time of great danger. So when you're dreaming and you have more than one dream, or you have the same dream, or other people in your circle, or other people in your family, or other people in your business have the same dream, the exact same dream, pay attention. It's a knock on the door, wakey, wakey. Like, wake up and pay attention to what's going on. It's God's idea to pour out dreams on all flesh. He's the one that chose to do it. It is his idea. He's the one. He loves it. It's a secret language. You can't fight with a dream. Thousands and thousands and thousands of Muslims are coming to Jesus as a result of a dream that they're having. It's recorded. God is doing incredible things in the night seasons when we're just trying to rest. So I hope that this has helped you, and I hope that you've enjoyed hearing some about dreams, right? I don't know how long I have. That's why I'm stopping. I think I have one more story. You want one more story? I'm full of stories. I've done so many of these now, it's hysterical. So we were this isn't about a dream, but it's just funny. We were at this little kind of a new agey town, and it was in an old mining town in California, and all the shops are new age up and down there, right? And so I walk into this beautiful, has blown glass, and all these different pictures and things. And here's this lady in here, and she's got all these colors on, and she's very theatrical, and she's just, And I said, "Oh my goodness, I see purple and red over your head." And she goes, "I love purple and red." And I went, "Oh, we're tracking." And it's not an aura, it's just that sometimes God is a many-colored light, and because he is light, we see light. In his light, we see light. Did you know that? And so the light begins to put off different colors, and you can actually see them, and they're really cool. I mean, he created the rainbow, right? And so anyway, I saw these colors, and I just went for it, and I said, she goes, "I love purple and red." And she goes, "I'm the goddess of something or another," right? And I went, "Oh, well." And I let her go on and spew on and on about her being the goddess of whatever she was. I didn't even really hear it because I was trying to hear God. What do you want me to say to this? And so she stopped, and I said, "I'm reminded of a story while you're talking about a king that had a prince. And in the prince's hand was a wound that bled. And the healing began to flow into all of the kingdom because of this wound it was a sacrificial wound that was given by the king to his son for the healing of the entire kingdom." And while I'm talking to her, and she's intrigued, and I put my hand on her heart, and she began to cry. And and what the Lord spoke to me when all this was happening is he said, "She speaks fairy tale." So I had to come up with a story that represented something that she could relate to, because she's so clogged up in her mind. She can't think on a logical level. She has to think. And that told me that God meets people where they live. He meets people where they live. The whole ministry of St. Patrick was, the Celtic way of evangelism was he would get a group of artisans and all the people gathered together outside, and he created community with these people. And the motto was, you could belong before you believe. You can belong before you believe. So it gave people a chance to have community so they would want to know the God that you serve. The one that loves you without measure. The one that will go to any extreme to find you when you're lost and when you're hurting. The one that will put his hand on your heart and heal you in a moment's time. The one that will chase after you with dreams, with visions, with signs, with prophetic words. He will appoint a donkey to turn and talk to you. because he loves us so much, and he loves he loves his friends. And they're out there and they're ready to come in. They're ready to be saved. They're ready to come to Jesus. They're ready to have an encounter with the one who loves them, an open-armed embrace for the broken and the ones who don't know him yet. Open-armed embrace. We are not going to correct them. We're just going to love them. We're going to use dreams to get us there too. So God bless you. I want to pray over you. I actually have some my team who'd like to pray for people tonight. So if you want to, I know you guys. We all. Where are you, Jerry? He's gone. Jerry has left the building. But you have teams as well, right? To come up. So we want to pray for people because you've got to have an impartation and an encounter with the Holy Spirit. And we want to provide that for you. We want to be able to give you what God's given us. How's that? Is that okay? We can't take all night because we got grandkids. I got to get them home for school. But I'm going to be down here, and my husband and Melissa and Abby and the prayer team here at Open Door. And I got to tell you how much I love you guys. You feel like a tribe to me. You feel like home to me. And I love that. All right. So God bless everyone, everybody watching, everybody praying, everybody dreaming. God, everyone, I just pray that you just bless everyone with dreams tonight. There'll be more dreams than what they could have ever imagined, and there'll be dreams of direction and dreams that will unlock solutions, and then they will give you understanding about things that you've wanted to know. God, I thank you for pouring out your Spirit on us, and I thank you for your love. Mostly, God, I thank you for your love, and I thank you that we are daughters and sons of you, God, that we know your daddy. We know that you are Father. We know our relationship with you, God. First and foremost, that's what we know, and we love you. We love you, and we thank you. We thank you. We thank you, God, for everything you've done, everything you're doing, and everything you're going to do, God. We bless you. We thank you, Jesus. Amen.